Okay, what you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. Excuse me. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done already, check out the Elevate Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that at the top of the chat and also in the description below. Chat with other traders, join the community, chat with myself as well. I do post trade ideas there as well. So if you're interested, make sure you check it out. And of course, you can find out a little bit more about Elevate Traders, the firm, as well. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone's doing well. Last day of the year. It's gone very, very quickly. Last one, good morning. Hope you're well. Desmond, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Yes, we'll go through Euro USD. Amit, yes, we'll go through gold as well. Do not worry. Karis, good morning. Hope you're well. Yeah, wishing you a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. Appreciate it. Right back at ya. Morning, Doctor. Oh, music's still on. Thank you for letting me know. There we go. Appreciate that, Dark Sean, but hope you're doing good. Good morning. What's up, Blessing? Good morning. Hope you are well. So yeah, guys, we'll go through USD pairs as always. Take a look at the DXY. I'll go for USD pairs, gold and silver as well. Of course, if you have any particular pairs you are looking at and want my opinion, feel free to drop it down in the chat. And of course, we'll discuss and see what's happening. But with USD, had a bit of movement yesterday. Euro USD was pretty bearish after I left. After the stream ended, we had a pretty strong move down. I mean, we did what we were looking for, price to come back, respect some areas, and we had a really nice sell from that area. Hasn't got going back to the low here yet at 1.03, but we did get a very strong reaction. Dollar, of course, we got the inverse of that. Nice move to the upside, which of course is what kind of caused that Euro USD move in the first place. But all in all, it hasn't really developed much. We're still pretty much in that same range from Christmas. More or less got the highs here, more or less got the lows here, and the market's kind of stayed within that, minus maybe these two wicks to the upside there and to the downside there as well. But more or less, market's still in the range. So in terms of the bias, in terms of the swing I'm looking for on dollar, again, still the same pre-Christmas, still looking for continuation. I've talked about this area as being a nice place for a long. If price was to get back there, respect 107, I would expect to see a bounce at that particular area and some opportunities for some upside, and of course, opportunities for downside on Euro USD, Pound USD, Aussie dollar, you name it. But at the moment, we do have really confident bullish structure. That was our past swing high. This is our new swing low. Then that is our new swing high. And of course, looking for the next swing low. Got some lovely confluence at that particular area as well. Lines up pretty well with the 50. If price was to come back and tag that, as well as the 50, I do think there's a good chance for more upside back to these highs. And again, we are teasing with the idea of a potential really big breakout. If price is really going to clear this level here, I do see us ending up back at 113, 114 in the next kind of few months. So there could be a lot of upside for dollar next year or tomorrow. More upside to come from USD. So that does put me very, very bullish. For me to change that bias, I need price to go and break structure. So give us a really strong move to the downside, taking out these lows here as well. And then that will make me very bearish on dollar. So at that point, we've got a massive double top at place. We broke through structure here as well. And yeah, are we looking for a lower high and then more downside at that point? So that's the only way from a swing bias I would be bearish on USD for the moment, for the time being. Still very bullish, looking for downside purely as retracement for the market to keep pushing. So it's either we kind of break to the upside with the consolidation, so price just decides it wants to break to the upside, or we might slowly bleed down, come back, collect some more buyers before pushing on. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for dollar. And of course, with euro, we just spoke briefly, looking at pretty much the opposite. Price has had the retest of this area now, so this was the level I said if you get the retest of, could be some nice shorts back into the swing low and then potentially back into the wick low here as well to go and see that continuation we're looking for. Haven't really seen that happen. Of course, we did get the initial reaction, but hasn't really got going. We are respecting some support here in the lower time frames. If I drop to the hourly chart, see it a little bit clearer. So yes, very strong support there. Market found it very, very hard to continue from that. So on the lower time frames, I guess some people will be looking for some lower highs in this vicinity, looking for the next lower high for a drop to the downside, which makes sense, but it's just very, very difficult because on the hourly chart, this to me just looks like a very range bound market, really. Equal lows, equal highs. I wouldn't want to be trading in the middle of all of this. This is where we've got the most speculation, most chaos. It's very difficult to find consistent trades in there. Not that you can't find a trade, but if you do this 100 times, your results won't be as good as if you're operating in these areas up at the highs or down at the lows. You got much more advantage, and if it plays out, the risk reward's better as well. So there's multiple reasons why you want to be up high or down low when you are trading in a range and taking shorts in here. Yes, you might catch a nice pullback, maybe to this area. Maybe the price does take a dive, and it could well do that. But if I was looking to trade on these time frames, I'll be waiting for a price to push back to the high before looking to get a short, just because I know I can get a much better stop loss. And if it plays out, my risk to reward is much better as well. So Euro, I'm still pretty bearish in terms of opportunities. Difficult to get involved. It was pretty much difficult to get a trade here, to be honest, actually, because of that big drop with that one big bearish candle. So if you weren't already in the trade, that boat would have definitely sailed away. But yeah, if price was correct, come back and retest that area. I think that's still the most sensible, best place to get involved with some short opportunities on the low charts. And of course, you got a pretty key level of support to target now. And if you were to break through that, of course, you got the lows there as well. But still pretty bearish in Euro. And yeah, looking for more downside. If I was to change my bias, it's because we had a really big move to break these highs. That's the only way I would change my bias in terms of the long-term swing I'm expecting. If we were to get something like that, then I'll be looking for the higher low and some continuation. But at the moment, everything is still pretty bearish. Pound USD, of course, similar to Euro, looking for downside as well. This one's been a bit chaotic as well. Drop to the hourly chart, mostly consolidation. I did speak about some shorts here yesterday and on the weekly analysis. I said shorts up here could be a little bit more aggressive, but could still be a nice play because the market is still very consistent with all these lower highs. So as we can see here, first high, second high, now looking at the third one. I think it lines up pretty well with a trend line, if I'm not mistaken. Almost, but came back to retest that high. The only reason why I said this is a little bit more aggressive is because the price is still bouncing off pretty key support, and this could end up being a really big double bottom. So there is that possibility that we do push the upside. So that's why the sell's there. Yeah, a little bit more aggressive. The more conservative or safe opportunity would wait for this support to break, show evidence of sellers winning that battle, buyers failing to hold support, and then some shorts after trying to catch the next swing high would be the slightly safer opportunity. But of course, if you catch it right here, you could be looking at a better risk reward. I still do see more downside for pound USD anyway. I'm looking at this daily swing low here at 1.235. That's the next big target for me for pound. If USD stays strong, pound USD is like to keep falling. And of course, if you break through this level of support at 1.25, that's just the next area I expect pound USD to end up at. So pretty bearish on pound. Again, very difficult for opportunities now. If you haven't caught this move up here, I think the next move is waiting for the lows to break and then looking for your next lower high afterwards. Again, you can try and maybe squeeze something there, but it's just very choppy conditions, so I'm not a big fan of that. In terms of dollar CAD, still pretty bullish. I think we had a bit of a move to the downside yesterday. Actually, I was talking about the buy last week at this area here, actually, because I'm looking for a pretty big pullback for dollar CAD, and I'm under the impression that we're probably not going to see that bigger pullback I'm looking for. And again, it's not necessarily because I'm just looking for a bigger pullback. I'm looking for a setup that fits the plan, and I'm not really looking at shallow pullbacks for my swings. And the area that fits my plan would be this level here, back at 1.416. So I need a pretty big pullback for dollar CAD before I do get into any opportunities. In terms of the longs, I'm very bullish. Again, we've gone through the price action numerous times. There's a lot of confluence at that particular area. Market is pretty consistent with all these high lows. And the plan is to keep looking for those high lows and expecting more upside. I have some longer term targets back at 1.46 in around that area. We just broke through very key resistance not long ago. So 1.46 is my next big target, next big goal. So if we can see some pullbacks, that'll be great. Just yeah, I'm not too sure we'll see a pullback to that extent. So I did say on the hourly chart, there could be some nice buys, basically looking to play the range, but trying to expect a continuation. So as you can see, price has respected these lows very well. I said there could be some more buys there again, looking to try and play the range back to the high. Maybe we do sell off again, so you want to look to take your profits, or you can leave some positions to run just in case we do continue. But essentially looking at range play for potentially a breakout. And we did have a nice bounce there. Hasn't really got going yet. It looks like it's stuck with some areas there on the lower charts. But overall, I think this is a nice place for a buy on the lower time frames. If you are looking for that bigger swing, the opportunity is there. But again, it's going to take a while for us to get there. Even if we are going to retrace there, it might take a week or two to get there. So have to be patient. In terms of Aussie dollar, pretty bearish on this one as well. Again, this one's been slowly falling, pretty much just sideways price action since Christmas. So not much to report here. Actually, I did say, again, similar to dollar CAD, there could be some nice shorts intraday. Let's say if we push back into the high here, I do think that's a nice place for a sell. I'm looking for the bigger pullback for Aussie dollar, which is a push into this area. As I spoke on yesterday, we've taken out some very key lows on the daily chart. So we took out, let me actually move to the daily chart. We took out this low here, and we also took out this low here. And we haven't been trading underneath these lows for a very long time. So taking out some big lows, and I do think we're probably going to take out this low as well. So I don't think we're quite done yet. And again, it's up to Aussie dollar. Are we going to just slowly bleed to the downside and take out the lows, or are we going to see a bit of a pullback? And how big of a pullback will that be? Will it be to the high here? Will it be a slightly bigger one to try and keep up with all these low highs previously? That will be up to your Aussie dollar to decide. But either which way, looking at more downside. That is very much the bias. And the exact same thing with New Zealand dollar, looking at more downside as well. In fact, this one just about got that opportunity actually to retest the high. As you can see, just about, did we? Nope, just missed it. So yeah, just missed it. Would be nice if price was to test that high and then get the sell. But again, effectively the market is ranging, looking to try and call the high of the range, sell at the high, anticipate a push to the low. I do think New Zealand dollar still got a bit more downside to experience. I'm looking at the wick lows here at 0.551. Again, similar to Aussie dollar, we're taking out some very key lows, taking out this low here, taking out this low here as well. So I am looking for that bigger pullback. But again, if the market's just going to bleed and stay bearish, then we're not going to get the bigger pullback anyway. But it would be nice to see something like this happen, retest some structure, and then be on our way. Again, trying to catch the next lower high in this sequence, connecting the dots, and hopefully find an entry. But maybe the market is just too bearish. Maybe we just keep falling. Yeah, and there might be some opportunities if we have a quick break and retest. But we'll speak on that if that does happen. In terms of gold, gold we saw a bit of upside recently. Now, I'm not taking that into consideration really as price turning around. I'm still looking at price pushing back down into the lows here. This is where I will contemplate some buys. If things look good, I may have a stab at it. I'm still very much a bull longer term, looking for a push back to the swing high here at 27.88. So the bigger move for me is still very much bullish. However, we formed a very aggressive double top not long ago. Price broke structure to the downside, taking out these lows. So I have been talking about some lower highs forming and some more downside. Coming back to retest this area here at 26.40. We did have a really nice retest not long ago. And since then, price has been steadily falling, to be honest. Yeah, putting some nice lower lows and lower highs, actually. So the market has been pretty bearish. And I do think more downside is likely. So again, with gold, if you're not in the trade, it's difficult to get in. This was a great place to look to short. Not in hindsight, I was speaking about this opportunity beforehand as a nice place to short. Now, again, it's not a bad area to short, but I would keep it to the lower time frames. I mean, we pull back into an area where, again, we could put another lower high in and kind of keep up with all this bearish structure on the left. So, of course, you've got the double top there, and you've got some lower highs here, and this could be the next one. So it's not a bad place to short. But again, I wouldn't look for such a big trade. I think if you can take it back to this area here, I think that's a great place to lock in some profit, and maybe the lows there if everything goes well. Of course, maybe further too, but because it's still very corrective, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a bigger pullback. So yeah, it's not a bad short, but I would be looking at the 15, maybe 5-minute time frame to trade that. Very, very intraday to get those shorts going. In terms of the biggest swing for the shorts, yeah, you kind of want to be up in this area. But like I said, the boat looks like it has sailed away. So in terms of the longs, waiting for price to get back down at these areas, then we can start to discuss that and potentially look for a bit of a bounce. Then, of course, you got your silver, which is actually at a nice level. And looking to see how he reacts. If you can have a stronger reaction, I may look to place a buy. I like this low here, kind of still looking at the continuation of this massive swing. So, of course, from the low to the high, I believe you've gone past the 0.618 now. So, yeah, I don't mind the longs from here for silver. Kind of lines up with this level on the left on the weekly chart. As you see, you got resistance over there, turn support. It's a really big level. So, it's difficult to pinpoint on the lower charts where price is going to turn from. It could be the level, could be very deep into the level, could of course be halfway, but more or less we're still trading in massive support. So I do like this area for potential buy, but I need to see more signs of rejection, more signs that price is likely going to turn before I do have a stab at some longs. But it's in a nice area, starting to see some rejection. Let's see if we can get some momentum like we did last time. And then I will look to have a go at it with a stop loss below the low and trying to see if I can swing this at least back to some areas around here. And then I'll leave some positions to run if I'm lucky and do catch the bigger swing back to the high 34.8, because that's still very much the play in my mind. I'm still looking for this big swing here. It hasn't broken any critical structure yet. This is still our major swing low. So as long as the price stays above that, I'm still very bullish, looking for a push to the high. And this overall is still pretty corrective too. So yeah, maybe we see a bit more downside before the move, but that's still my plan. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD gold and those sort of pairs. We'll go through some indices as well. Where was I? Desmond, no, but I do have with Elevating Traders do have an academy and a free course you can check out. If you go to the Elevating Traders website, just elevatingtraders.com, you can find the academy tab at the top of the website, and then it will take you to the academy with the course as well. Blessing, Euro Yen. Okay, we'll take a look at that for you. No problem. Ahmed, good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome. Dark Sean, good to hear. Oh, okay. Caught a nice move with GJ. Nice. Missed the entry. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that on the end pairs. Really strong move to the downside. I was not expecting that. Really big move for the end pairs yesterday. We'll go, of course, through them. I'll give my thoughts on it. But yeah, pretty big move, surprisingly, for GJ. And that's what I said. Even though it was kind of the Christmas festive period, GJ's actually had been moving. It's actually had a okay move to the upside. Now it's had a pretty strong move back down. But yeah, like Ahmed said, it is part of the game. Zondiware, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Definitely said your name wrong. Apologies for that, but I hope you're well. Just out for 10 minutes. Yeah. But the thing is, again, there's always another trade around the corner. Of course, there's not always the big trade around the corner. That's the thing about high risk reward opportunities, is that you don't know which trade is going to be the bigger trade. So you might get a really nice trade here, which gives you the 200 plus pips, and you might not see that again until maybe 2-3 weeks time, or maybe even next month. So it can be a bit of a bummer when you're looking at high risk reward opportunities. There's always the next trade, which could still be another big move as well. But the 200 pips plus or whatever pips, depends what you're looking for, because maybe 50 pips is a big trade for someone who's got a 5 pip stop loss. So it depends what you're looking for. But the bigger trades you're looking for don't come around as often. But and that's why it's a bit of a bummer to miss out on it. But they will come around again. They will come around again. Trading is a long-term game. So if you do mess up in the moment, eventually your edge will play out and give you your trades, which will come around eventually. So yeah, just stick with it. Keep up with price, and you're not going to catch every trade. You are going to be missing some, but the idea is that you don't have to take every trade to be profitable or hit the targets you want. But yeah, definitely difficult to miss out on it though. Ahmed, New Zealand Seed Chef, short position. Everyone's missing their trades now. What's going on? Yeah, I mean, I was looking for shorts of New Zealand Seed Chef. It didn't quite fit my criteria yet, but I'm hoping to see another bounce on that same area too short. But I will go through that in a moment. But yeah, a bit of a move to the downside for that one as well. Hey, what's up, Moore? Hope you're doing good, my man. Yes, I am doing good. Hope you're well. Welcome. Hope everything is well with you. Anton, Euro JPY. Okay, I'll go through Euro Yen next. Full blessing, and then I'll take a look at New Zealand CHF. Okay, so Euro Yen. So yeah, Euro Yen, we had a bit of a move to the downside, but I think this is still in an area where price can still bounce from. I'm still looking at potentially that bigger sell, as I spoke about yesterday for Euro Yen, but I'm waiting for price to get back to the highs here at 166.621. That's really the area which I want to sell from. Not to say we can't sell off before that, but of course, I've got to trade a plan, and that is where I would like to get involved. At the moment, nice sell to the downside. Did see a lot of momentum yesterday, but I'm still under the impression that we're forming another higher low. So as you can see with all these consistent higher lows, this is looking like the next one in that sequence. Prices pull back into a nice area of support, really strong rejection this morning. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see another move back to the high in the next few hours, and maybe I do get the move I'm after back to the high there at 166.5. So yes, pretty strong drop for the yen pairs yesterday, but hasn't really done anything significant that tells me that, okay, this move is over and price is now going to start moving in the opposite direction. There hasn't been any critical break of structure, any change in anything significant that tells me price is going the other way. So the way I'm looking at these moves from yesterday, and of course we'll go through the rest of the yen pairs shortly, the way I'm looking at that move there is just a pullback for price to continue higher. We pull back into some structure here. Really nice shift of momentum down the 4-hour chart. And it does look like we've got potentially another move to the upside. So I'm still looking at this move here for Euro Yen, and then possibly some sales when we get there. I'll judge price action when we get there. I'm not saying I'll short outright, but if I do see the necessary rejection I'm looking for, then yeah, I will take some shorts. And of course, if we break through, I will scrap that bias and probably start looking for some longs at that point. But this is really what I'm looking for Euro Yen. Still more upside. This looks like a healthy level of support. 162.5 holding pretty well, and 166.621 is where I'm looking for price to push, and then we can discuss some shorts slightly after. But for now, still pretty bullish. So yeah, I mean, in terms of entries, you probably already want to be in the trade. Yeah, I mean, you could have entered on the big bullish candle there. But yeah, overall, I think as long as we hold that support, I do expect more upside there for Euro Yen. In terms of New Zealand CHF, again, this is a pair which I was looking to get, well, still am looking to get involved with. New Zealand CHF. If price is to come back up and retest the high here, I will look for some entries for that double top and potentially some sells. and hopefully a swing back to the low, and then hopefully a swing back to the all-time low, which is not too far away down at this wick here. So I'm very bearish on New Zealand CHF. Didn't quite give me the confirmations for me to get into the trade, but if we do come back and tap that area again at 0.51, yeah, I will be looking to play some entries and get involved. We just about pulled back into the 50, as we can see there, and we had a really nice break and retest of this zone here. Lovely break to the downside, a lot of momentum. Haven't had a retest yet. That was our first retest. Nice reaction. So again, the price was to push back, confirm that level as resistance and hold. I will be looking at downside and more continuation. We've got the lower highs here, one over there, second over there, looking at a third forming. And of course, you've got some nice trendline confluence there as well. So yeah, I'm really liking New Zealand CHF. Ticks my boxes a lot. High time frames are still very bearish. We're seeing bearish momentum across the monthly, weekly, daily time frame. Every single significant time frame is pointing down, and there's a lot of confluence where I want to place my entry. So it's just a matter of waiting. Will price get there? Potentially. If it does, I'll find my entries, hopefully. If it doesn't, then maybe we do keep falling and I miss the opportunity. But yeah, I'm hoping to see another bigger pullback. But yeah, the way I'm looking at things, New Zealand CHF is likely to keep falling. It's very difficult to see price suddenly just reverse to the upside from here. Although that could happen, of course. Always expect the unexpected when trading, but we've got to deal with probabilities. Probability is price is likely going to keep heading lower. So I just need to find those entries and take advantage of that trend. But yeah, nice move to the downside yesterday, New Zealand CHF. But I do think there's a good chance of a pullback, and hopefully you can find some entries to trade it back into the lows. But still pretty bearish on New Zealand CHF. That's the main CHF pair I'm looking at. I have been looking at Euro CHF as well. It's another CHF pair which I do like, which did give a really nice wick rejection yesterday. It just didn't give me momentum afterwards, because the two things I'm looking for my entries is wicks and momentum. This gave me a very strong, massive wick to the upside. So I really liked that yesterday, because I know that any previous sellers with stops in this vicinity would definitely be taken out with that wick. So that was a really big tick, really good sign. Then what would trigger me into the trade would be momentum. And we just didn't quite see that. We had kind of four very sluggish, bearish 4-hour candles, which is not really saying much in terms of momentum. And then this morning, we had a really strong push to the upside. So not looking great there for Euro CHF. Hopefully we can get a nice bearish engulfing at some point. And then that will be my entry, something like that. Stops above the high. And then similar to New Zealand CHF, looking for a swing back to the lows here, and maybe further as well. And of course, we've got some lovely checkpoints along the way. But yeah, in a nice area, still keeping up with the lower highs. As you can see, one over there, second over there, third over there, and looking at this giant wick as being the fourth for a swing back to the low. But of course, if we break through that, I'll invalidate the setup and I will stay away. But it's definitely a pair which I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. Hopefully, you can find a trade pretty soon. Yeah. I mean, again, maybe New Zealand CHF is going to push down, and it might not give the pullback I just mentioned. But if it does, I think the trade is still very much on, looking to take the trade and get involved. And that's the beauty of trading. You know, you have a plan, you have a setup you're looking for. Maybe price forms it, maybe price doesn't form it. If it does form it, you want to be there to take the trade. And if it doesn't form, there's no trade for you to take. You're on to the next one. So maybe New Zealand CHF does keep falling, but if it doesn't and it comes back to retest the high, like I said, I'm looking to take some trades there. But yeah, still keeping up with the downside, still looking very bearish. So I do think price will keep falling. Another one I'm looking at is Aussie CHF, but I need a bit more downside with this one first before I do contemplate any sells. I do think this one's getting ready for an even bigger move, in fairness, compared to New Zealand CHF. This has got a really critical level of support, which looks like it's trying to break through. Well, technically it has broken through. It's just hasn't really kind of followed through. It's broken through. Now it's kind of just hugging that level as resistance. So Kind of want to see price really break through this and really pull through. And then I can talk about some shorts below it and some more downside to potentially go and fill the wick all the way down here. And of course, we've got the wick over here as well, which is the all-time low. So very bearish on Aussie CHF. I do want to see a lot more downside first before I do take any shorts. So if you can have another drop, that would be fantastic. I'll look for the next pullback, lower high, and then catch the next short. You can see the consistent lower highs price has been forming. So looking for the next one and trying to find some shorts in the back of that. But I've got to stay patient because if we do break back above this level, it does kind of invalidate the sales I'm looking at, because then we're back up. Oh, did not mean to do that. Because then we'll be back above that big daily level, and that kind of ruins the shorts for me. So if we take a look at the daily chart, if we get back above this level here, then this becomes a big fake out, and I'll be actually looking at something like this to the upside, which is still not a bad play either. In terms of risk reward, could still be a pretty big move. But the reason why I like the sell so much, especially with the CHF pairs, is because I know that the higher time frames are still pretty bearish. If I zoom out to the weekly chart, the direction of the market is down. So if I can look for sells in these conditions, you know, most times you'll be in the right direction. Of course, there will be a time where price does reverse and see some upside, as every market will have its pullback. But at the moment, not really seeing any signs of that. So if I can keep selling, keep looking for the lower highs, there's a good chance that I do catch a nice winning trade that just trends very well. And maybe I can look to add to as well. So that is very much the plan with Aussie CHF. So I don't want to see it break back inside, which is kind of teasing. But if we can see another drop, yeah, I'll be looking at some sells and hopefully can find some nice low highs with this one. But in terms of my watch list, the pairs on the watch list are Aussie CHF, you can see the break to the downside. New Zealand CHF, if I can get the retest there. Euro CHF, I'm looking for the shift of momentum. So 3 CHF pairs on the watch list, all looking to short, all looking for more downside, all not quite ready yet, but the idea is there. In terms of dollar pairs, I like dollar CAD to the upside as well. If that was to give me a bigger pullback, lovely area of structure here. But like I said, if you had the retest of that high, of that low there, sorry, and that might be enough to send price to the upside. So maybe I don't get the bigger move, but then again, this is not my trade. That's a trade for someone else to take. If we were to go and break through that, then I can start to concentrate on some longs. But I'll keep an eye out for it. That's still where I'm looking to get involved with. Dollar yen as well. This is a pair on the watch list too, which is similar to dollar CAD, very far away for some entries. I'm looking for some pullbacks of this move. I whip out the fib from the low to the high. We've got the 50 in this area. This is really where I'm looking to get long from 154, 153.5. If we can see some rejections in that area, that'd be great. And then I'll anticipate a swing at least back to the high. But well and truly, I do think we can make the bigger move all the way back to the weekly swing high, which is back up here at 160, 161. And going to hit that level there. So we'll be looking to try and hold positions back to that high and trail stops as well. So yeah, dollar yen, dollar CAD, 3 CHF pairs, silver, I'm keeping a close tab on for that potential double bottom. If I can get a stronger reaction, stronger rejection, I will look for longs at that area for some buys to take price to the upside. If I can get something like this over here, something there, that'll be my sign to get into the trade and looking for a bit of a move to the upside. And then I also kind of like New Zealand CAD, but if it's not A1 the setup, then I'll give it a miss. But again, we've gone through New Zealand CAD a few times, haven't really seen much change in terms of the price action, been moving sideways quite a lot. But again, the idea is that we're looking for the pullback of this full hour move. Got some nice confluence in this area. Looking for the lower high, you got some nice confluence there with the 0.618. Trying to find the next lower high in that sequence. As we can see, high over there, lower high over there, lower high over there. And again, looking for the next lower high for push back to the lows and hopefully further as well. So yeah, pretty bearish with New Zealand CAD too. And is a pair that I like too. But again, unless the entry's not A1, I'll probably give it a miss just because of where we're trading. But the other pairs look very great. So just need to be patient. But in terms of proximity and actually taking trades, it will just be with the CHF pairs right now, Euro CHF and New Zealand CHF, because they're actually in the vicinity of, especially Euro CHF, where I could take some shorts from. So if I could see a strong shift in momentum in this next 4-hour candle, I will look for some entries, but it's got to be a strong shift. I need to see momentum. And that's the only reason why I haven't taken a trade yet. Rejection's good, big wick. Zone looks like it's holding. Need to see that momentum shift, and then hopefully I can find some entries there as well. Okay, dollar CHF. I'll go through dollar CHF, then I'll go through the yen pairs. Because of course they were moving quite a lot yesterday. So yeah, with the dollar CHF, things are looking pretty bullish. So USD's been pretty strong, and of course CHF's been pretty weak. Well, a little bit weak. And we have seen dollar CHF push up. So again, as I've talked about a lot with this one, I'm not a big fan of structure because it's a little bit all over the place. But essentially, we've got equal highs, and of course, we got equal lows here. So the way I'm looking at price is that the market is ranging, and it looks like we've had a really strong rejection of the low. And now prices look like it's going to push back to the high of the range, which is 0.92. So as long as we keep up this bullish trend, there's a good chance that price is just going to keep pushing back to this same area. And then, of course, we can speak about some shorts. But the idea of the trade is that we're looking to keep up with the buys and then take it back to the high and then maybe take some shorts back down again. So as I dropped to the 4-hour chart, I did speak about some longs on the retest of this area here. Doesn't look like it's quite happened yet. But I say yet, we still could get a move to the downside to go and test that level. So I wouldn't say it's not going to happen, but I would say a retest that area does look good still. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, you can see it's just in between the 0.5 and the 0.618. It'd be great if you can go tag that area and then look for the continuation. The idea is that we had these consistent higher lows, one over there, second over there didn't quite test the trend line, but looks like this third one did. And of course, it'd be great if you can get the fourth test, tag the trend line, tag the 50 as well, tag this prior area resistance will be turned support. And of course, there's a good chance of us seeing a higher low form, take it back to the high, and hopefully back into that daily high there as well, which is at the top of the range. So yeah, dollar CHF, not my favorite market because of its range bound price action. But if we are going to just make a move back to the high of the range, then you're essentially looking to follow that trend on the 4-hour chart, daily chart, and try and catch that next high low, which I would expect has a good chance of forming at this area here. So yeah, I think the pullback is the way for dollar CHF. I mean, on the lower time frames, we're kind of just seeing that happen as well with these higher lows here. Looks like we're falling another one. So price kind of just steadily pushing up. If you do decide to have that bigger pullback, keep an eye on 0.89. That is where the confluence lies. But at the moment, I'll just be looking for buying opportunities, whether you're looking at intraday, just hit the mic there, whether you're looking at intraday opportunities, kind of staying in line with that bias and that momentum, or you're looking for the bigger pullback. Either which way, there's opportunities to take dollar CHF to the upside there. But yeah, very bullish on this one. Yeah, it'd just be better if everything was trending a little bit more, but that is what I'm looking at. So in terms of the yen pairs, and we spoke about euro yen, I am looking for some upside for this one. So I'm treating that bearish move yesterday as just a pullback. So I'm going over to pound yen, which is a very similar pair to euro yen. Again, strong move to the downside. Actually, yesterday I actually did talk about a retest of this area. I said, if you're still looking for buys for pound, I think this is still a great area for a buy. And we did have a really nice reaction off that same level. I just wasn't expecting yesterday for us to actually see that pullback, because of course we didn't even have this bearish candle yesterday. I think price was maybe pushing a little bit down, but overall I wasn't expecting that big move there. But we did get there, having a nice reaction. I'm still looking for shorts for pound yen at the high here, which is 199.6. That is still the area which I'm looking for some downside. Because again, if I expand to the daily chart, overall, I'm still looking at this as a big impulse, this as a potential correction, and potential continuation. So I'm still looking at a really big trade, really big swing for pound yen. I'm not quite convinced that we are going to come back to the high here yet. I do think that high may be the high of the trend, and we could still see a sell. I could be wrong, and if price does push up and takes out the high there, I probably am wrong, and at that point, I'll be looking at buys to try and take it back to the high. So I will adapt if I need to. I'm not going to be stubborn with a bias. For now, I do think the shorts still look good, but I need price to get there first, of course, and then I'll start talking about some shorts. But in terms of the meantime, I think longs look good. Similar to Euro yen, price has been very consistent for these high lows, and I don't think anything has changed. I think this will be the next high low, as long as we can respect this area, and again, a nice push back to the high, which is 199 and potentially 199.632 as well. So yeah, pretty bullish there on pound yen, as long as we keep up structure. In terms of CAD yen, I like this one as well. Nice move to the downside, not as aggressive as Euro yen or pound yen, but a move to the downside we did have. I spoke about two areas for longs, this area here being one, which I think price may have just missed, if I be exact. Yeah, we just kind of missed that area. I mean, it looks like we're holding into support here, but it would be nice if price was retesting that high at least, or coming back to retest this area, which if we had a deeper pullback, that would be great as well. You can see the higher lows the market's forming. Would be nice to try and catch that deeper pullback, and of course, the risk will be much better for it as well. But yeah, I do see more upside for CAD yen as well. Lovely impulse to the upside. I'm looking at this as kind of a correction for that and a continuation as well. So with CAD yen, with the shorts, I still like them up at this level, 111.481. Looking at the daily chart, really big swing to the downside. I'm looking at this as being a correction of that swing, and possibly the continuation is soon around the corner. Again, if you do break the high aggressively, I probably will take that as a sign that, okay, we're probably not going to sell off anymore. And then I'll be looking at some more upside. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, this is still very much an attractive place for a short. And I'm still looking for us to get there as well. So the move to the downside yesterday for CAD yen as well, I do see it as an opportunity to buy it back up if you're looking on the lower time frames. But yeah, it would be nice to actually retest the high there. So maybe we do get one more move to the downside, but either which way, I would be expecting a push to the upside for CAD yen and a push back to the highs here at 109.805. But yeah, generally in terms of the immediate price action, still pretty bullish with the yen pairs. In terms of CHF JPY, now this one had a pretty big move to the downside as well. I believe it is coming back into that same area. So again, yesterday I was talking about some retest of this level here. Solid rejection this morning. Nice wick to the downside in the 4-hour chart. Nice shift in momentum there as well. Nice bullish engulfing on the hourly chart there too. So yeah, I think this is a nice place for a buy. Again, at least for a push back into this area. I do like that, but I do think we can get back to the highs here and potentially further as well. We do have the swing high over there at 177. But I would be looking at least a move to those two areas there, back to the swing high, to keep up the high lows, and looking at that being the next one there as well. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I did say yesterday that I do like this level here at 173, but I just didn't expect CHF JPY to make that move. But again, after years of experience, you should always expect the unexpected. It was a nice move to the downside, solid rejection this morning. I do think we can see some upside if we do remain above this level. And then, yeah, 174.243, I think is a solid level to break, to take some profit. And then if we can get back to the high, I think that's great as well, 175.709. But overall, very bullish on CHF JPY. This one, I'm not really looking for some sells. CAD yen, Swiss yen, CAD yen, pound yen, euro yen are my three favored yen pairs for the big short, the big double top. Swiss yen, not so much with this one, so I'll give this one a pass. Yeah, it's closer to $2 yen, which I'm actually looking for a big swing. So yeah, CHF I like the buys. Keep an eye on the retest of this level here. Essentially, should already be in the trade, but if it does come back for a retest, there could be some more entries following suit. But yeah, for CHF I do think more upside is likely. In terms of Aussie yen, so this one actually had a pretty strong move to the downside as well. Now, this one is kind of just back in the range here, really. I said yesterday that the buys look good for Aussie yen, but I would want it to actually break out of the highs here. And then we can speak about some pullbacks in the retest of that high or the retest of this high. And then we can talk about some longs on the retest of those areas, trying to see the next high low and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, yesterday, the price rejected the high very well. And now we're just kind of back in this range here, equal lows there, more or less equal highs there. It becomes a very tricky prospect to trade this now. So personally, I wouldn't touch it because we haven't broken the highs confidently. I wouldn't be looking for buys in general. Now that we're back in the range, maybe we do continue to see a swing back to the low of the range and bounce again. Who knows? They in a ranging market, I try not to predict things because it's most of the time not worth it. Yes, at the high of the range or the low of the range, I can use that to my advantage, but in the middle, that's where I lose a lot of edge. Then it becomes more of a guessing game than everything. So yeah, with Aussie yen, I'm still looking for the buys because overall prices found it very, very hard to continue lower. You know, there's not many markets will reject price like this so well and still head lower. Of course, it's not impossible, but with all the rejection there, it's a strong sign that the price is really failing to break through 96, and we could turn around. But equally, we need to see price give us those higher lows first before we can get involved and take the buys appropriately. But yeah, I'm still pretty bullish on Aussie yen. Still looking upside, but there's just no opportunity to trade it just yet. So until we break the high and we break the high well, I would just stay on the sidelines with this one, as overall price action is still very, very messy. In terms of New Zealand yen, I would imagine it's the same thing, really. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Again, nice resistance there. Looked like we were going to break the highs at one point, but price completely failed to do that. Strong rejection and a bit of a sell-off the past 24 hours. So again, more or less equal highs up there, equal lows down there, more or less as well. Market has been extremely flat. So I wouldn't look to do anything here with New Zealand yen until we can either break high or break the low. Again, because we've had so much rejection to the downside, I'm still under the impression that there's a great chance we do break higher, but we'll see as things develop. If we do see a strong break to the upside, great. I would be looking at some pullbacks, some higher lows forming, retest that same level, and of course, looking for a nice swing to the upside. If I go to the daily chart, I'm still very keen on the potential double top at this area for a big sell. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on. Not as much as CAD or Euro or Pound. Those pairs really have my attention. But New Zealand yen could look good if we get there. Same with Aussie yen as well. I wouldn't mind some shorts if we were to get back to that same zone and take price to the downside. And of course, you've got a lovely wick low down there as well. So yeah, with Aussie yen looks pretty good for some shorts longer term, because again, I'm still looking at that as a big swing to the downside, and this is the pullback. But maybe we do get a bit of a move to the upside first. How is the JPY basket looking? Okay, so it looks like we did get the pullback then. So I had this setup drawn on last week. I said it would be nice to see a retest of that zone and then some more downside. But of course, we didn't quite get that last week. Price just stayed bearish, kept falling. So I wasn't expecting price to get there, but it did get there. Nice respect, nice rejection. You can see the yen basket has been very consistent with all these low highs, 2, 3, 4, 5, and potentially 6 there as well. And now I'm looking for a push back to the lows there. So yeah, yen basket looks like it's probably going to have another move to the downside there. And if we keep that up, I'll expect to push back to the lows, which is this area here, 6206. Then of course you've got the lows there as well. And then we can discuss that potential bounce, or if price is going to break through. Either way, it's a very critical level, and I'm going to be very focused on it because it's going to dictate my buys for the next potential few months, really, with the yen pair. So it's a very critical area. But yeah, do expect a bit more downside for the yen basket. So that means upside for the yen pairs. Yeah, that is kind of where I'm still at with them. Navid, US 30. Yeah, I was supposed to go through the indices earlier, actually. So I'll go through the indices together for you. No worries. I'll go for US 30, S&P, and we'll take a look at NAS as well. Okay, so I'll start with US 30. Okay, so US 30, nice sell-off to the downside yesterday. So we did speak about some shorts from this area. I think we tapped it last week, did we? 26, yes, that was Boxing Day. So we did tap into that area last week, and a really nice sell to the downside, really nice move from that area. So because we broke structure, which is what made me pretty bearish with US 30, we did break structure of S&P. We'll get to that in a second. We didn't break structure of NAS. But because of the way prices moved, because of how aggressive we were after the interest rates, I did say there's a good chance for more continuation as well. And then, yeah, US 30 breaking structure. That's a key sign that more downside is likely, not guaranteed. We could still continue higher, but likely to happen. And especially coming back into such a nice area here with a brief pause in the market, really strong drop. First test of that area, there's a good chance of a reaction. We did get one and a nice sell. So the next move for US 30, I'd probably still keep up with the shorts. We had a nice high over there. Price broke to the downside, another high there as well. Now we broke to the downside again. I would say if we can get a push back to the high here, and then get a nice sell off the back of that, maybe tapping into this area here as well. I think that could be a nice place for a short on the lowest charts. So like the 30, 15-minute time frame. We've broken structure to the downside again here as well. So I do think there's a good chance we do make it back down to the lows here at 42,100. So a nice push to the upside, maybe taking out some of these weaker highs here, tap into that area of brief consolidation, but a lot of momentum came from that area. So nice area of supply. Take out that high there as well. Could be a nice continuation, catching that next low high in this bearish sequence. So there's some confluence there. Not the best place to trade because it is, again, little bit in a bit of a range. It's always a bit awkward, but there is some bearish structure to follow there. So that's why I kind of like it. And we're coming from a healthy place on the 4-hour chart as well. So yeah, I do see more downside for US 30. 42,100 is where I see price ending up. Structures pointing down very, very well here. So yeah, I'll be looking at a push to the upside, tag an area, and hopefully we can catch a drop after that. But yeah, US 30 in my eyes, still looking pretty bearish. Okay, take care, more. Have a good one, my man. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, but have fun in the meeting if you can. But yeah, appreciate you coming on. But yeah, US 30, that's kind of where I'm at with this one. Looking at more downside, and I do think we can push back to the lows there at 42,100. In terms of S&P 500, so this one as well, nice move to the downside as well. All the indices had a pretty big drop, but S&P 500 did actually take out lows as well. So this one did break structure, not as convincingly as US 30, but still a move that did get a candle closure below on the 4-hour chart, which is, effectively what I use to gauge structure. If candles do close above or below the wick, that to me is a sign of structure breaking, and we did get that. So was looking at more downside for S&P, and we did eventually get that move from this consolidation. Really nice move. Price tapped into that area, a lot of consolidation, strong drop, and then we did get a nice sell from that same area as well. I did suggest yesterday that we might get one more push up and then the drop. Didn't quite happen. Price was just way too bearish. But now dropping on the hourly chart, similar to a situation with US 30. We just broke through some lows there. Nice strong drop to the downside. We've got more or less equal highs up here. So that's our double top. And then price broke that to the downside from the lower low and the lower high. Again, a lovely move there. A lovely lower low there too. So now I would suggest a nice push to the upside, potentially tag that same area like US 30 as well. Brief pause in the market before we had that drop yesterday afternoon, and try and find the next lower high. And again, catch a nice short back to the low. And then if we're lucky, back into the low here as well at 58.10. So the idea is to keep up the lower highs. I like this one a little bit more because there's more momentum in the market. Really strong drop to the downside. We broke structure as well, which is important too. We broke structure, which is important too, and we tapped off a really strong area of supply resistance, and had a nice sell there too. So yeah, a bit more upside, strong 4H close as well. So I think that upside looks likely, but I do think it's likely to form a lower high and drop. So keep an eye on that. Then if you do take a look at the NAS 100, looks similar to, so NAS 100 is the only one that didn't break structure. So I wouldn't be as confident with the sells. In fact, because US 30 and S&P do look like really good short opportunities, I'll just focus with those two if you're looking to trade the indices to the downside. With NAS 100, because we haven't broke structure, this is still our swing low, which gave us our swing high up there. Of course, that was our prior swing high. And then we did talk about some buys as we came into this area. Really nice reaction there anyway. Pull back into the 0.618, I'm pretty sure, or maybe just below that. Yeah, into the 0.618, just spiked a bit below, but really strong reaction anyway. So it was a nice area of confidence for the buy. And then did we? No, we didn't quite tap into that level there. But yeah, nice move to the downside. Again, if I drop to the hourly chart, you can see us breaking through lows here too. And again, NAS 100 may form another lower high in this sequence and continue to sell off. But I wouldn't be so interested with this one. Like I said, S&P and US 30 have both broken lows. So we're getting a sign that structure is breaking, that we could see some more downside. NAS 100, although very much could do the same thing, they tend to do the same thing anyway, but there's less confluence here. But yeah, the key sign, which is why I was never confident with NAS coming back to highs, was the way the market dropped. This is not your normal pullback. You very rarely see such an impulsive big move and it being a pullback. Of course, nothing's 100%. Sometimes you do get moves like this that do end up being a pullback. But the chances are moves like this normally do start at least a bit of a counter trend move, or at least a deeper correction before we do see the bigger move to the upside. Normally pullbacks are a lot more corrective. They do take their time. There might be some impulsive moves within that corrective move, but generally speaking, they're more corrective than impulsive. This is just a pure drop. So that's why I was never really confident of price pushing back to the high. And of course, we got the same move across the board with US 30 and with the S&P 500 as well. But yeah, I think they all look good for more downside this afternoon going to the New York session. But if I had to trade one or two of them, or not trade one of them, I'd ignore NAS and focus more on the S&P and US 30. How is the other indices looking? If I take a look at the DAX quickly. Okay, so the DAX, we did get that retest at that zone at 19,700. Pretty nice bounce there. That was before Christmas. Yeah, before Christmas. So nice bounce there. I did say the potential could be a double bottom, and as things stand, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get one. So I would keep an eye on that if you're looking to trade the DAX. Nice area support at 19,680, a place where we could definitely reverse and see some upside. Very, very strong level coming into the 50. Of course, if you look at the prior swing lows as well, this is a nice place where we could form the next one. Really strong move to the upside as well recently. A lot of momentum in that drive. And now it has left behind some healthy areas for the next higher low for a push all the way back to the high up there. So that's still very much the plan there with the DAX. No break of structure. no indication of more downside. Until I get that, of course, I will change my bias. But for now, everything is still pointing up. If I take a look at the UK 100, okay, looking pretty bullish off that low, and rightly so, because price has just been respecting this area on numerous occasions. So I would be very bullish from this area. And again, it is essentially a ranging market anyway. So you got the lows down there, you got the highs over here. Of course, you got the swing high over there as well. Yeah, I would be looking at the FTSE pushing to the upside back into that same area of resistance back at 8,300. It would have been some nice buys from last week, to be honest. But yeah, overall indices, well, I would say US 30, S&P still look pretty bearish to me. But FTSE and the DAX, I do like the upside on those ones. I do think they can still push up. What's up, Anthony? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. If you're looking at any markets, feel free to let us know. But guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. If you are enjoying the content, finding it useful, subscribe. It does really help out, and I do really appreciate it. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And of course, whilst you have to check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. Yeah, guys, really appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed. It does really help out. I appreciate it, Anthony. Nice analysis on Euro USD. Yeah, we're looking at some downside for Euro. Price came back into that structure, and we did get a very strong. It was difficult to actually catch the trade. I mean, I don't really trade on the lower charts, but it was very difficult to catch the trade because it happened very, very quickly. We did get a nice pullback on this occasion for Euro. Came back to test that level there. We had the high from last week. That was actually that was from 23rd. Price spiked through that and then got a really strong reaction. But dropping to like the hourly chart, the way you would enter that would be right down at like the 15-minute chart, which is just not a time frame I trade. But it was a nice rejection there. Strong bearish engulfing, and it was a pretty nice sell there to the downside. It hasn't really played out to the extent I was looking for either. I was looking for price to come back into the lows here. Of course, you can never be perfect. Of course, trading is difficult to be perfect. All you're looking for really is just areas where price is going to react in your favor. If you're looking for sells, where's an area where you will see seller stepping? Same for the buys as well. How far price goes is always difficult to tell, and that comes down to trade management. Where do you go break even? Do you take partials? Do you trail stops? That's a different kettle of fish. It's always difficult to pinpoint pip to pip where price is going to go, of course. But really nice rejection of that area. And then I was looking for a push back into the low here and potentially the low here as well for Euro. I still am. Just hasn't really got going yet. Looks like price has found some support here. It's doing a pretty good job at holding. I said there might be another push to the upside because this happened very, very quickly. So price might want to kind of balance itself out first and then get the follow through. So if you're looking to get involved in Euro to the downside, I think this is still a great place for shorts around 1.04500-ish. I think that's still a nice place to be looking at for some downside. But yeah, still pretty bearish with Euro, and looking at the dollar, I'm still pretty bullish with this one longer term as well. But yeah, I'm kind of just waiting for a bit more convincing price action because Euro USD long term hasn't really given me the price action I want yet. Dollar has just about done that, but it's not entirely convincing. It's not like we've seen a very powerful close breaking through the highs here just yet. We have left a little bit of wicks here to the upside, which is not the most confident breaks you want to see. You want to see confident candles. You want to see 2 or 3 candle closures successively above a major high as well to really show that price is breaking through a zone. We go to Euro USD. We've got massive support here on the left. And if I just remove all the drawings there, actually, we've got massive support here on the left. And yeah, it looks like price is trying to break through, but at the same time, it's really struggling. And this is such a significant level to me because if price does manage to get a significant break, I'm looking at a pushback to 0.96, and that would just set up next year's price action for me. Lower highs, lower lows, hopefully nice trend forms as well because we've been in a long-term range too. So it's kind of like if we do break through this level, I expect there to be a lot of momentum because we've been ranging for the past 2 years. So I do think a breakout is pretty likely as well. Very much, we could definitely respect this level and bounce back up again. That could be a situation. But the way I would look for the buys, I would have to see a strong double bottom form. And I'll need price to go and break through this high here as well. So if price does go and break through that, then I will throw my hands up and okay, I'll be bullish at that point. Then I'll be looking at some type of correction, high low somewhere, and more upside. So it really is make or break with euro this level 1.05. And if I expand to the monthly chart, you can really see the importance of this level here. Because if I take this level across and bring it like this, you can see that this has been a very critical level of support. Previously, back in 2017, gave us a humongous move to the upside. We did break through that not long ago. It did turn out to be a big fake out. But is this time actually going to give us the breakout? Maybe it does. If it does, then this is where I expect price to go. If we do bounce from this level, then we could see a lot more upside for euro. So it really is make or break longer term. As a swing trader, I'm always looking at the long term move. I'm not necessarily looking at the monthly chart to predict what's going to happen in the next year. But it's nice to know that, okay, there's a good chance price is going to continue on the higher time frames. That means that as a swing trader, I know that, okay, if I'm in the direction of the trend, the longer term trend, I can look to be a bit more aggressive, give my stops a bit more room. And on the flip side, if I know I'm against the longer term trend, I can be a bit more aggressive with my stop loss, knowing that, okay, I'm not in the favor of the trend. So I know this is going to be a bit more of a shorter term trade. Therefore, I don't want to stay too long. So I can use that to my advantage. What's up, Tony Gold? Happy New Year to you as well. It is the last year of 2024, last day of 2024. Today, very, very, I don't know. I was going to say very emotional, but it's just a normal day to be honest. But what I would say though is a pretty important day in terms of price action because we're going to get the December monthly candle close today. We're going to get the we're going to get the quarterly candle close today, and we're going to get the yearly candle close today. So there's going to be some very pivotal closures today. And I will spend a bit of time looking at the monthly candlesticks and the yearly candlesticks to see how they do print, because it will make up my decision for what could happen next month, next quarter, next year as well. So some really important information could be coming our way. And if I do take a look at the 12-month price action for euro, which of course is the price action for the year, again, I'm not a big fan of it because basically we have some support here on the left, and all we're seeing price do is just close into that level of support, which doesn't give me any information apart from that level is still intact. So we could very much bounce the upside next year and see a push up, or we could see next year break through. What I was looking for was a strong close below, because that would be the indication that, okay, we're breaking through. We've got a candle closure in the monthly chart. There's a good chance now that 2025 is going to drop. Because we haven't got that and support still holding, I'm more inclined to think of a push to the upside, because my mentality is always, if support's holding, I expect it to continue holding until proven otherwise. That's always my kind of neutral base thought. If price is at support, I expect it to hold. If price at resistance, I expect it to hold until proven otherwise. And haven't been proven otherwise yet. So, and of course, if we go to the quarterly chart, which is the 3-month time frame, very strong close this month. Of course, we've been falling for the past few months, but again, strong close, just back into support. Maybe we wick through, but it could end up just bouncing to the upside. And of course, December, just trading at support right now. Akash, okay, I'll go through pound yen. So yeah, pound yen, I'm still looking at a big sell. I'll go through some crosses and some CAD pairs soon. CAD yen, I'm still looking at a big sell with this one, but I want to see some more upside first. This is where I'm looking for shorts back at 199.632. This is where I'm looking to take some sells from. I'm still not convinced with pound yen that we're going back to the highs up here on the left at 208.103. I'm not convinced that that is still the big move. It could be if price goes and breaks through the high here, then I'm like, okay, maybe we are going to push to the upside. But until I see a confident break of this high, I'm not sold with the buys yet. Sold with the buys. Funny way to put it. But yeah, I do like the downside. This is where I'm looking to take some shorts. If I do get some opportunities, I will look to take some entries. I think in the meantime, buys look good. I did talk about this area here yesterday as a nice place for a long. We have seen a nice reaction, and I do think we can see some more upside there for pound yen. So my analysis is basically looking for some buys to sell it. I'm not really interested in the buys, to be honest. It's not really my type of trade, but the sells I'm definitely interested in. So kind of waiting for another push up before I can sell. I'm kind of looking at that move across the board, euro yen as well too. Looking at move to the upside for a sell. Same thing with CAD yen as well. Looking for a move to the upside for potentially a sell later on. And of course, I'll pick one of them, whichever's performing the best or looking the best, I should say, is the one I'll look to trade. But yeah, with pound yen, I do think it's still a nice place for a long. But in terms of the shorts, I like it, and that's the move I'm really after. But I need to wait for price to push back to the highs there in the first place. But how the yearly candles are closing for the yen pairs? Okay, so for pound yen, we're still I'll wait for the candle to close because we're kind of just on the cusp of potentially closing above the wick there, which is not necessarily. I mean, it is a significant close if it is above the wick, but if it is going to do, it's going to be by a very small margin. So it's not that significant. If it was a close like above here, that's more significant. But yeah, it looks like we're still kind of stalling because you can see last time we had a massive rejection and a really nice bearish close. And of course, we got the big drop to the downside from that. I wonder if this is going to be the same wick that caused it, and then we see a big drop after. We'll see. In terms of euro yen, so euro yen back into yeah, I think euro yen's a nice place. Really strong resistance, big wick to the upside, piercing through. Good chance we could still see some downside there. I do like the shorts there for euro yen, CAD yen. This is the yearly chart, by the way, 12-month. Again, a lovely wick there to the upside, back into some resistance. Yeah, I think we can see some downside there for CAD yen as well. Look at Aussie yen. Yeah, really big wick to the upside, not closing well. We could see some downside off the back of that too. New Zealand yen. So some interesting candle closures on the yearly charts for the yen pairs. Again, back into resistance. Looks like it's going to close bearish actually. So again, good chance for more downside there next year. Dollar yen, I would imagine, is a bit different. That's looking pretty bullish, I would imagine. Yeah. Not really showing signs of slowing down. And then, of course, if I go to CHF JPY, I'd imagine that looks pretty bullish too. Yeah, very bullish. But again, I do expect to pull back at some point. So some yen pairs look good for shorts. Seeing some awkward candle closures on the yearly charts. So that could mean some bearish years. Not bearish years, but a bearish year next year for some of the yen pairs. Wow, just looking at some of the years on the bottom axis there look quite surreal. You guys can't see it, I was just looking at some 2042, 2049, 2056. That is feels a long way away, but not really. Anyway, Himanshu, good time to long UK 100. Yes, but I would say it depends on what type of stop loss you look to have. Because if you long now, the stop loss you're probably going to be using is going to be pretty big. If you're looking to long, it would have been the best to get involved in the longs down here, even on the lower charts anyway. But from a 4-hour perspective, this would be the better time to do that. So at least you can get stop loss underneath the lows there. And even then, the risk reward isn't fantastic, but at least you can get a 1 to 2 back to the high. If you look to long now, a stop loss there means that a push there is more than 1 to 1, which is not great. I suppose you could have a stop loss here as well, a little bit more aggressive, still get the 1 to 2 to the high. But again, you're banking on that being a higher low. If price was to come back and retest it, that will stop you out. Stop loss underneath here will still keep you into the trade. So yeah, it's not a bad time to long. Personally, I wouldn't. This would be the trade that I would look to take, at the low, stop loss there as well. But yes, I would expect more upside. We're still seeing nice momentum, so it's not a bad long opportunity with stop loss there. Bit more aggressive, but at least you can still get 1 to 2 back into the high. So again, there isn't no necessarily wrong or right thing to do, because none of us have crystal balls. You don't know what the market's going to do. All you have to do is make sure you're trading based off a set of rules, plan. That looks to me that there could be the higher low forming. But my trade would be something that looks like this, and I wouldn't take it there. So for me, it would be a missed trade if I was looking to trade UK 100. But I can understand, traders looking to get long here as well, and base stop losses there too. I can understand that, just wouldn't be my trade to take. What's up, MD? EuroCHF. Sure thing, we'll take a look. So yeah, EuroCHF is actually a pair which I'm looking to trade at the moment. It's a pair on my watch list. I'm kind of just waiting for some entry signals. We had a pretty strong close on the 4-hour chart, which has made things a little bit awkward. So I need to see a strong bearish engulfing candle if I'm going to get short at the moment. Not quite seeing that. So yeah, essentially I'm looking for the double top here. Price created resistance not long ago. We came back again, really strong rejection with that wick, which I like to see. If I zoom out, you can see we have been putting in these lower highs, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm looking at potentially the 4th. So there's some nice confluence here as well. Consistent lower highs and looking for the next one. And now I'm looking for a big move to the downside. However, it does look to me that price is struggling to turn around. I've been looking for basically momentum after we had that big wick there yesterday. Then I was waiting for a strong bearish engulfing candle. Never got it. We kind of got these very small 4 bearish candles. Haven't really provided much momentum. And now the last 4-hour candle closed pretty bullish. So I want to see things turn around, strong close back to the downside again. That will be my trigger to get into the trade. Stop loss above the wick high there. And then hopefully I can swing it back down to the low, which will be back down here at 0.92. Got nice 1 to 3 there. So yeah, EuroCHF is a nice short if we can keep up with these lower highs. It's trading at a nice area where a lower high would be likely. Now it's just about timing and making sure you're waiting for the right time to get into the trade. If we are going to break through this zone, then we probably are going to keep pushing. And what would invalidate my setup is if price was to break through the high here. So if we were to see a candle closure above this high, so of course that was our last swing low, which gave us the low down here. If we were to see a candle closure above that high, that would invalidate the shorts for me. And I would actually be bullish for EuroCHF. My bias would be changed. And I would be looking for something like this to happen, higher low, and then take it to the upside. So yeah, that would actually be my bias for EuroCHF if we do get that. But for now, it's still short bias, still kind of keeping up the lower highs. So I'm looking for that to continue at the moment. We're looking very, very bullish. So until things turn around very aggressively, I'm backing away. And like I said, if it was going to break through that high, that will invalidate that bias, and I will look to be bullish. because I'm looking at the high time frames and I'm looking at these major swings, and I'm thinking that potentially, if of course we do get that break of structure, potentially we are looking to go and place that next major lower high in, and that's where the bullish bias comes from. So we've got the break of structure. Now it could be looking to place the next lower high in this sequence, which could be a move, back into this kind of region, and there could be some nice buys to take advantage on the way up. So I can see price going both ways, whether we continue the trend and see some new lows, because we keep doing that. We had a low there, a low there, low there, of course, so we could continue that bearish momentum. Or if price does want to push, there's an area which we could buy towards as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with EUR/CHF. But because we haven't broken structure yet, I'm still pretty bearish. Anyway, we'll go through some of the CAD pairs. I haven't gone through those yet, and we'll go through some of the crosses as well. Again, not my favorite pairs at the moment. I did touch briefly on New Zealand CAD. I said I don't mind this pair at the moment. It is technically on my watch list, but I need the entry to be A1 if I'm going to take a trade, because it's not really in my best area to short from. But I'm still looking at more downside. If I do expand to like the weekly chart, it does look like we're just seeing consistent lower highs in this area. And to me, it looks like the market is forming another lower high with this move here. So I'm expecting us to at least get back to the low. And if everything goes well, it's a good chance we get back to this low here too. So yeah, I expect more downside for New Zealand CAD. I expect more downside. Things look very bearish here. And if I can see another pullback, my goal is to try and catch that next lower high. So of course you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course looking for that next drop. So I do like New Zealand CAD. In terms of Aussie CAD as well, I do like the downside with that one. However, it's not as clean as New Zealand CAD. With Aussie CAD, we've had a nice move down. We have broken through a pretty long-standing trend line in the market, being this trend line here as well. So that's an indication that, okay, things are shifting. Prices had a really big breakout of that. And I do think we can keep falling. So for Aussie CAD, I do think the bigger move again is a push back to the lows here. But at the same time, because we are coming back into support, it's difficult to short, and because we're so corrective as well, I don't like it. But zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, similar to New Zealand CAD, you can see all the lower highs prices being printing in the market. If we keep this up, probably gonna get back to the low there as well. So that's where the high time frame bearish bias comes from. And drop into the low chart, we are very consistent with lower highs here, which is similar to New Zealand CAD as well. So again, I would expect that to continue. There's a nice brief consolidation there. Could see a pullback into that same zone, retest it, and then be on our way. And of course, see the next lower high. So it's a similar trade opportunity to New Zealand CAD. It's just Aussie CAD is just more corrective, hasn't broken key lows like New Zealand CAD has done. If I quickly go back to New Zealand CAD, you can see we've broken out some key significant lows on the daily chart. We have broken through this low here, which is another indication of more downside. Aussie CAD hasn't quite done that yet, which doesn't mean it's not necessarily going to fall. It's just that there's more going for New Zealand CAD than Aussie CAD. So it's the better trade for me to take in terms of the technicals, even though they're very similar pairs and they most probably do the same thing. It's just that I'd rather take New Zealand CAD because it ticks my boxes much better. Eric, what is up? Oh, okay. Long the DAX till next quarter. Is that next quarter or till Q2, as in the second quarter of the year? So you're looking for a very long-term swing. I mean, I can understand that, to be honest, because number one, the DAX has come back to a very nice place where if we are going to continue, if we are going to continue at a very nice place for that, solid resistance, ton support. This is a great place for another high low to form. So if you do see a successful bounce from this level, which I think there's a good chance for it, then yeah, you're looking at a pushback to the high there and probably some new highs as well. Um, of course, we don't move in straight lines, so if we do create a new high, we'll probably have a pullback at some stage. But overall, it's a very bullish market. Um, looking at the daily chart, trend is still very much your friend there. Everything is still pointing up. So looking to buy and hold pullbacks makes a load of sense. If you're looking for that longer term swing trade, I think there's a lot of there's a lot going in your favor right now. So yeah, I would back that as well. Of course, nothing's 100%, but you've got a lot of things in your favor, pointing in your favor there. So a great place to long. Technicals add up, and if you're looking for that bigger swing trade, it is a great place to hold as well. You can see I've mapped out the low to the high. We pull back into the 50, so it's a healthy pullback at least. And we could continue if I whip out the old extension. Is that target based on like a time period? So you're going to exit in Q2 no matter what? Or do you have a specific price you're looking for price to get to, but you just kind of expect it to happen in Q2? I'm interested to know. But if I whip out the fib extension minus 0.27, minus 618, you got some areas there to look at as well. If we were really going to see some continuation, 21K, then 21,500, you would probably call it. But yeah, overall, very, very bullish on the DAX as well. So I can definitely agree with that bias. But yeah, let me go take a look at the other CAD pairs before I forget. So I did New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD, Euro CAD, and Pound CAD. Yeah, not a big fan of these guys. I don't really know what's going on, to be honest. I mean, for Euro CAD, I did talk about some buys down here, which I still like because we've been very consistent with the higher lows. So of course you got the low over there, you got the second low there as well. Got lovely double bottom potentially, which could form. If we can just drop one more time, that could very much happen. I'm still looking for a little bit more upside for EuroCAD back to the highs here. If we zoom out overall, EuroCAD is just a big ranging market. You got your highs over there, you got your lows over here. Price just bouncing between the two. I know recently we're kind of been respecting this area rather than coming back down here, but overall just a sideways market with a slight uptrend. We've got slight higher lows and higher highs forming, but it's a very choppy market. But anyway, EuroCAD on the 4-hour chart, big reversal. We had that big inverse head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder, broke the neckline, and now we're forming higher lows. So as long as we remain in that bullish structure, I do expect price to keep pushing. And then, of course, you got your lovely 1.515 push back to that high, and then maybe further as well. So yeah, very bullish there with EuroCAD. I do think we can see more upside for that one. Pound CAD, of course, similar to EuroCAD. This one had a pretty strong move to the downside. Again, we spoke a lot about that level of resistance. Price really struggling at this same level. You can see in the weekly chart, multiple wicks, multiple rejection of the same area. So no matter what, price keeps struggling to break through. Big wick not long ago. And last week we closed inside the level 2. So this week we're having a bit of a reaction. I did talk about some shorts there yesterday and last week as well about that potential head and shoulder pattern that could form. You got a lovely left over there, head and potential right shoulder. But a really big drop. Yesterday I wasn't expecting that to happen so quickly, but a really big drop. And I did talk about some targets back down at this area, which price has gone and hit now. The reason why I was a bit more conservative with targets, not looking for anything big, is because the trend is still very much to the upside. So even though the market's having a really hard time trying to break through this level, yes, we could reverse, but also yes, we might not reverse. And probably the odds are still likely with the might not, because as a trend, you always got to respect that as a trader. Even if you go and counter trend, which is fine in some cases, but if you're going to go counter trend, you have to be wary of that. You're not looking to hold trades too long, being patient for your entries, and being prepared to exit trades early. Because if the trend's going to continue, it's going to continue. If you're on the way or not. So it's a nice short back into support. If I was trading that, I would have locked in most of my gains at that low. Maybe if I had an extended target at some of these areas, I'll leave a small position to run, like 20, 25%, with a trail stop So that way I can potentially take advantage of the bigger move if price does reverse or have a bigger move than expected. But if the trend does continue and goes back against me, there's no love lost. I've already banked most of my profits there. If it's pro trend, then of course I would leave a bit more money on the table, but it's just not pro trend. So yeah, that's kind of my take with EuroCAD at the moment. Okay, you exit Q2 no matter what. Okay. Okay, so you want to be in line with the institutions. Okay, fair enough. That makes a lot of sense as well. Um, yeah, I mean, you for that reason, you could see price change direction, whether it might continue or turn around. But if that's going to be a logic, if that's what's going to be what gets you out of the trade, then see that through. Okay, yes, I will have a look at gold for you, no problem. MD Litecoin, okay, I'll have a look for you, no problem as well. If I have missed out a pair someone's mentioned, let me know. But yeah, I'll go through gold and Litecoin for you. So yeah, with gold, I am looking at well, actually, personally, I'm trying to get ready for some buys, but I need price to come a little bit further down first before I do get that set up. So I am looking at some longs from 25.42, which is this level back down here. So if I can see that bigger move for gold back into that level, I'll be more than happy to take some buys and hopefully get a nice move back into this area, which is the all-time highs, of course, and the trend continues. In the meantime, though, we had a really aggressive double top, respected the high very well, respected the high well there. Nice move to the downside, broke structure. So since that has happened, I'm looking at gold pushing to the downside, back into the lows there. I did say there could be a very short-term intraday opportunity on the lower charts at the start of the stream because we are forming these lower highs. We had the equal highs up here. Then we start forming these lower highs here too. We did come into an area where, again, another lower high can present itself, which looks like it's kind of happening. We're seeing some downside. So I did say 50-minute, maybe 5-minute chart. Shorts back into this zone or this zone here look good. I wouldn't look to try and stretch trade too far because it is still very tightly knit. It's almost like a range in that area. But I still think we can see a bit more downside for gold in terms of an intraday opportunity. But in terms of swing, still looking to buy gold. And this double bottom opportunity is kind of what I'm eyeing up. So yeah, gold, I want a bit more downside before I do launch the buys. In the terms of the immediate price action, I think gold's got a good chance to keep falling. And yeah, back to these lows here at 25.85, and then hopefully back to 25.42 there as well. But I do see gold still pushing down lower, and then we can talk about some buys later on. In terms of Litecoin, how's this one doing? Okay, oh, very strong moves to downside there. So we ended up reacting with those areas. Strong move back down. So yeah, it's not looking good, I must say. Let me just get rid of that. Start fresh. It's not looking good. If we go to the weekly chart, yeah. I mean, it's becoming a little bit more corrective, which is good. I mean, this is still a very aggressive move, which I don't like. When we're looking at crypto markets, I don't like heavy selling pressure, especially if we're trying to go through a big bull run. Heavy selling pressure is not great. It's fine in small amounts because, again, the market's not perfect. But as soon as we see that heavy selling pressure, I want the price to immediately bounce. Bitcoin does that many times where suddenly you might push up, have a big sell, but then the market just pushes right back up again. In this case, you had a big sell, had a correction, another big sell. And to me, this looks like potentially another correction as well. If it ends up having another sell, then yeah, this bull run is completely dead at that point. Probably go into another long-term consolidation like we did over here. And then eventually we'll probably see the next move, but that could be whenever. So yeah, it's not looking good for Litecoin in terms of the buys, at least. If you're looking to sell it, then I think there's actually some opportunities here. A push back to this area here to keep up with the lower highs. You had one high over there, second high over there. Potentially could be forming a third one as well. Nice push back to that same area, take out some early sellers, which would have some liquidity resting above the high here, catch next lower high, maybe retest this consolidation as well. That's where all the momentum came from, so it'd be great to retest that level too. Then, of course, you got the opportunity to short it at least back to this area. That's the first area where I'll consider locking in some gains. But then, of course, you got the lows down there as well, which we've got a good chance to push into and probably a lot further as well. But yeah, I'm looking at more lower highs now for Litecoin. 1, 2 really strong highs with strong moves. I think there's a good chance of seeing a third one as well. And because this is very slow price action too, it leads me to think that this is just a correction for price to keep dropping. So yeah, keep an eye on this consolidation. Retest of that could be a really nice short, taking out the highs there as well, and just keeping up with these lower highs there too. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking at with Litecoin, more downside likely. But yeah, whilst we're on Litecoin, let me go to BTC. How's that one doing? Yeah, Bitcoin had a bit of a drop yesterday. Didn't really amount to much. I would say support is still holding. I'm still looking at this area of support, and we did about pierce the low of it, but hasn't really amounted to much. I said for Bitcoin, if we were to break through this zone, then that's when I would expect to see that bigger pullback happen. The next logical area I have for Bitcoin for a bounce is actually this level down here at 73,900. So if this level of support breaks, that could be game set match for Bitcoin, and we have a very big correction on our hands. Again, it's not game set match in terms of price going to zero, but it could just mean we have a more prolonged pullback than expected, maybe back to 74k, which is more than a 25% drop since the high. So it's a pretty significant pullback. Maybe not so much for Bitcoin, but in general, pretty big pullback, and then maybe we go to the upside from there. But equally so, price is doing a good job at holding support so far. So maybe if you see a strong candle close today, that could, well, not necessarily today. Today's Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, so we might not see much momentum. But in the next few days, if we do pick up momentum, we might see price start to push from this area. So those are the two areas where I'm looking for Bitcoin to see upside. If we can keep up 92, 93K, then I think that's a nice place for a buy with some stop losses just below the low, something like that. Or if we do go and clear that out, then this is the next best area for a buy, 73, 74K. And again, seeing more upside. I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin. But yeah, if that 92K, 93K level breaks, then I think we're probably in for a pretty big move down for some time. But yeah, still looking at upside, and I would keep an eye on both those levels. And if I go to Ethereum quickly, yeah, Ethereum's not looking good either. Ethereum broke through some support not long ago, which is not great at all, after respecting the price swing higher here as well. So hasn't been good for Ethereum. I was hoping prices were going to break through that high, but we just formed a really aggressive double top and had a really aggressive reversal, taking out structure there too. So for this one as well, I think we're probably going to see a bit of a move to the upside. But again, it's probably going to be a lower high for price to keep pushing back down, similar to Litecoin. Maybe a push to the high, take out the highs, and then we get a bit of a drop, similar to the double top we got there as well. So I do think Ethereum is a great chance for a move to the downside, then suddenly a push up, you're back to highs again. Of course, anything can happen, especially in the world of crypto, but in terms of the technicals, it's not looking healthy. I think we're more likely to get a move back down to 2,900, and maybe you might see some buys from there. But for now, not looking great. I think we are due more downside there. A lot of consolidation, so again, might manipulate that to the upside and then see a bit of a drop there. But yeah, not looking good. Not looking good, to be honest. Need some momentum from somewhere in the crypto pairs, crypto markets. Otherwise, it might be a bit of a bleed to the downside for these ones. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with crypto. In terms of some of the crosses, pound Aussie still looking pretty bullish last time I checked. I don't mind the buys for this one, but it doesn't look like we're quite going to get the pullback I'm after. Or maybe we do. I'm still looking for the retest of this area for a long. So if price was to pull back into here for pound Aussie, I think that's a great place for a long, back to the high, then potentially a lot further than that as well. If I do whip out the fib from the low to the high, got some nice confluence there, coming back into the 50, retesting the high down the left too. Yeah, this is really where I want to find some long opportunities there with pound Aussie, take it back to the high and so forth. Pound NZD is a better opportunity, I would say. So between the two, I'm probably more focused with pound NZD. But it's the same situation. Really nice swing to the upside. You got the lovely low there to the high. You got some lovely confluence in this area, coming back to retest that zone. So again, it would be great to push down, retest that level, and then swing to the upside, back to the high, and so on and so forth. So yeah, with pound New Zealand and pound Aussie, I'm bullish on both of them. I do expect more upside for both of them as well. Right now, we kind of just got consolidation, really, which is not bad because it means there's a big battle between buyers and sellers in that area. You can see price push the downside, kind of flush out the early sellers, early buyers of the market, sorry. Then we can look to take some entries. I do think that could actually be a nice opportunity, really. And again, at least the push back to 2.24, which is the high, and maybe beyond that as well. But I like the opportunities in this area here at 2.21. In terms of Euro NZD and Euro Aussie, not so keen on these guys. I do like Euro Aussie to an extent. I'm not actually looking to trade it, but I like the break of structure we had recently. So yeah, it's got that going for it. It was a nice break of the high here, left that in the dust. So I do think Euro Aussie has a good possibility to keep pushing higher back to the high here after very aggressive triple bottom here. It does look like price has now broken all of the noise, and we can see a bit of a trend form and the sustained push back to the high. So I'm looking at Euro Aussie pushing back to 1.7. So I do think if you're looking at the low time frames for Euro Aussie, some buys look good. I think intraday, if you can get pushed back to the low here, if I drop to the hourly chart, since we are forming these higher lows and higher highs, I would say a nice little move like this, take out the low, push on. Could be a great place for a nice higher low and a nice buy. And of course, you got a target there, and then of course so on and so forth. But yeah, I do like that intraday opportunity there for Euro Aussie. Again, not really my type of trade. I don't really drop to the intraday timeframes, more swing. But I can definitely see opportunity there as well. Just because I do trade in the slightly higher timeframes doesn't mean I'm blind to the smaller time frames, but I do think more upsides there is pretty likely. Euro NZD, however, I'm not a big fan of this one. It's kind of a bit all over the place. It looks like we're trying to break through resistance at the high here, but I'm not quite sold on it just yet. Again, if Euro Aussie is going to keep pushing higher, then that means Euro NZD is likely going to keep pushing high as well, because of course they're very correlated pairs. So if we are going to break past the resistance, then of course you've got the wick high there to look at, and that could be a nice target to look at. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the price action. Maybe if you do break the high here, and it does leave behind some nice opportunities for a break and retest, say something like this, strong break to the high, that could end up being a decent trade there, but we're still a long way away from that. And of course, a lovely push back to 1.86497 there. So yeah, not the biggest fan of that, of those currency pairs. They're not my watch list. Not really looking to trade them, but I do think more upside is likely. In terms of euro pound, yeah, so euro pound, I'm looking at the buys again. We're getting some big candle closures here. Monthly candles about to close now for euro pound. Be waiting an age for this, but it looks like we are about to close. Again, we've got some really colossal support in this area. It does look like price is about to get the candle closure, but it looks like it's likely to close it as a doji at least, potentially bullish, which is a sign that this support is still holding, which is also a sign that next month, as in Jan, we might be on for a push to the upside. Maybe not that big, but maybe a push to the upside. So buys are starting to become interesting for euro pound. I would suggest we still need to have that break of structure first. I wouldn't be jumping into buys just yet. But if we can get a nice bullish close on the monthly chart, we see price create some new highs. That's great. Then yeah, some higher lows could form. We could speak about some break and retest later on That was a very awkward drawing, but you guys get my point. Find the next high low, nice double bottom back over there as well. Break structure, new higher high. Then, of course, looking for the next high low and continuation. So Euro pound is something I'll keep an eye on, but definitely not ready yet. And the Aussie New Zealand dollar, I like the buys with this one, but I'm looking for a much bigger pullback before I do anything. Really, again, we've got a lovely long-standing trend line in the market here. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, number 6, looking for number 7 at the same area for some buys. That's really where my confidence lies, again, with Aussie New Zealand dollar. So yeah, very bullish with both those currency pairs. Not my favorite pairs at all. They're typically very corrective, and I like trending markets. I like markets with momentum. It's just healthier for my trading. So I'm normally reluctant to trade them, but sometimes they're good opportunities. So I do keep them. I do keep an eye on them sometimes. And if I do get moves into those areas, I would be looking to buy. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with those markets. But I'm quite interested to see how I'm just going to quickly go through some pairs and look at how some yearly candles are closing, because they all close today. So Aussie New Zealand dollar, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year range continues. This is still a range that we've been trading for 11 years, which is crazy. Eventually, we're probably going to see a breakout, which does take us back to these areas, and then Aussie New Zealand dollar will be a great pair to trade, but it might still be another 2-3 years before that happens. So yeah, it's just a very, very choppy one. Euro pound, and again, the reason why I'm looking at the yearly chart is not necessarily to trade the yearly chart, is just to see how the yearly candles close, because it could be a nice indication to see what happens next year. Euro pound, again, pretty bearish, but closing back into support. It would be nice if price was to close below that. That would indicate a breakout there on the yearly chart, which could be a nice short for 2025. But if it does hold support, then we could definitely turn around as well. How the C-Chef pairs closing. If we go to pound C-Chef, not much really, to be honest. It's funny because we had such a big drop in July, but it doesn't look like anything happened there at all. Euro CHF. Yeah, just still bearish for the CHF pairs is what I'm getting at. New Zealand CHF. Yeah, still bearish. Aussie CHF. Still bearish. So yeah, it's just still bearish on the higher time frames. Nothing really to indicate. And then if I take a look at the DXY. Okay, DXY, that's an interesting close. It's a very interesting close. Let me clear that out of the way. It's an interesting close because for the first time since 2016, we're actually getting a candle closure above resistance. Because we formed resistance in 2016, respected it there, respected it again, and then in 2022, we of course had that a massive, insane move to the upside. Dollar's very, very bullish, but equally on the yearly candle, we still pulled back by the end of the year to respect that same resistance. Then 2023, another big wick to the upside, closed bearish this time, so it's been holding intact since then. But this is the first candle, first yearly candle to close above this level, because of course the candle closes in 12 hours. So that could mean that USD is on a way back to the high here, back to the wick high there on the left, potentially the resistance up there as well at 116, 117. So it does line up with my bullish bias for USD. If you do see this close here, I do think there's a good chart. We do see more upside and the push back to the highs there. If I look at the quarterly chart, yeah, quarterly is about to give us a very strong candle closure as well, clearing resistance here too. More of a sign, more upside is likely. And then if I go to the monthly chart, monthly, nothing really to write home about. Yes, it looks like we're about to close above the high, which again is more bullish indication, but it's not the strongest close you'll see in the world. But yeah, either way, it does look like USD is likely to continue pushing. If that's the case, we could see a very bullish 2025 and a push back to 113 at least, which is good because it means opportunity, it means trend, it means momentum, and that is really what I'm looking for. Late to the party, but see you next year. I'll see you next year, mate. Hang tight. Actually, no, I won't be. I won't be live. Well, I won't be live tomorrow, but I'll be live the day after. But that will still be next year. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for USD. It's gonna be interesting, but it looks like USD strength could be looking to last. It could be looking to last. Let me have a quick look at some of the other USD major pairs. Pound USD on the monthly chart, closing bearish this month. Quarterly chart, closing very bearish. Looks like we might see a push back into support here. And the yearly chart, just the doji, really nothing much to take in from that. Dollar CAD, I'd imagine a very strong close. Yeah, very strong. Ooh, that's quite pivotal for dollar CAD as well, actually, because you can see these big wicks here. This is the first time we're going to get a solid candle closure in this area, a strong one as well. So that tells me there's a good chance of continuation and a good chance to the tops up here. So again, dollar CAD looks like it's destined to continue to the upside as well. Maybe destined is the wrong word, but likely to continue to the upside as well. So yeah, pullbacks for dollar CAD still look good. Aussie dollar, I bet these guys are looking very bearish. Yeah, look at that for a close. Very strongly closing to the downside there. So again, Aussie dollar like to keep falling back into the lows here at least. How deep we go into the zone, that's a different question, but like to keep pushing. New Zealand dollar. Yeah, looking very bearish as well. Yeah, it looks like we're probably going to break through support, to be honest, with that close. So huge bearish candle. So yeah, more downside as well. So yeah, it does look like USD strength is still knocking about, and dollar CHF. Looks like support here on the left is holding. About to see a nice bullish engulfing. So yeah, it looks like dollar strength is present, to be fair, on the higher time frames. Holy 1 4 3 5 1 2 enter dollar CAD. Oh, okay. Is that long position, short position? What are you doing with dollar CAD? 4 3 5 4 3 5. Okay. Assume it's a buy. Taking the buy of that support level. Yeah, I was talking about the buys there yesterday. Because I'm looking for the bigger pullback to this zone, but I'm not too sure dollar CAD gives me the bigger pullback because there's just so much momentum in the market right now. We might just keep pushing. So I did suggest yesterday that there might be a nice little range play because effectively the market is ranging. So buying at the low of the range there, try and anticipate at least the pushback to the high of the range. Maybe we sell off, maybe we break out. But the beauty of trading a range is that you can get a nice long in back to the high. Take some of your profits there if you want to, of course, depends how you want to manage, but take some of your profits there. And then you can always leave some to run if you do get a break in the continuation and the price does turn around against you. You already booked some profits in, you can close the rest as well if it breaks past 50% of the range. But yeah, I like dollar CAD to the upside. Dollar looks strong. It's pushing up pretty well. OKR long, nice. Yeah, looking good. I do think we've got a good chance of continuing. And long dollar CHF as well. Okay, only one's really taking advantage of USD strength here. And dollar CHF you're long as well, looking for a push back to not back to, that's your entry, sorry, 0.903. Okay, somewhere around here. Okay, nice little intraday pullback. So yeah, as you can see, I'm looking for the swing as well, but it's just a much bigger swing on the time frames I'm looking at. But same bias. I do think we can see price push through. Had some major trades in the past. So that's nice. Whoa. So you taking advantage of the Christmas period there, Holy One. I know a lot of people that take the Christmas period off during trading, but there is some momentum. The market's not completely dead. They are, of course, low in terms of volume and volatility, as you would expect, because there's less participants in the market, less money involved, so the markets won't be moving as much. But there are some moves. The yen pairs have moved pretty well. And CHF pairs moved a bit. Some of the crosses have moved a bit as well. USD pairs, some have moved okay, but some have been pretty flat, to be honest. But yeah, there are some moves to be had. All right, okay, Holy One. But yeah, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. As I said, I won't be live tomorrow because markets are shut tomorrow, but I will be live the day after this week, Thursday, Friday. So if you are free, if you are wanting some analysis and some quality time with a much loved community, feel free to pop in uh, on the 2nd and the 3rd, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time, because we will be live and breaking down the charts. If you have enjoyed the stream, guys, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel. It does really help out as well. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Really do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, saying hi, chatting with myself, and spending time with us. Really do appreciate it, guys. But yeah, it is a wrap of 2024. So I do wish everyone a happy new year. And of course, it's the same with 2025. We'll be live again every weekday. So if you have enjoyed the streams this year, feel free to tune in next year because we've got more things to come, bigger and better as well. So, keep a lookout for that. Make sure you check out Elevating Traders Discord channel as well. Link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. But guys, really appreciate it. Have a great New Year's. Stay safe. Don't do anything silly. And yeah, guys, I will catch you all in the new stream. New stream, new year, but also new stream as well. Yeah, but appreciate it. Thank you, Karis. Appreciate the message, my man. Happy New Year to you as well. Take care, guys.